So, you can tell a lot about what a person actually cares about by looking at how much effort they're willing to put in. I mean, take a look at Danielle Smith. It's been almost 2 weeks since she went on TV to tell us she'd be forcing Albertans to vote on tearing our province out of Canada this fall. But also that she actually doesn't personally support separatism, and so she'd be campaigning against the question she was forcing onto the ballot. Okay, so what's that campaign going to look like? Well, we found out today.
I can tell you, I think that that my activities and the things I do are probably the most important ways that we'll be able to win hearts and minds. I'll be hosting Doug Ford and Scott Moe here during the Stampede once again and having a couple of announcements then. I hosted the Western Premiers. We'll be hosting the Pacific Northwest region, the Global Petroleum Show next week. And I'm going to the Council of the Federation in Charlottetown. And I have a very aggressive travel schedule over the summer where I will be doing lots of coffee parties and lots of town halls and talking to lots of people.
So basically, she's just going to do all the things she would have been doing anyways, but she'll put on a maple leaf pin while she does them. Frankly, that seems like a whole lot less effort than she spent getting us into this mess. I mean, remember, Danielle Smith spent over a year rolling out the red carpet for Alberta separatists to force a vote, including stoking separatist sentiments within her traveling roadshow, Alberta Next, changing our law 3 times to clear their path, and sending publicly funded lawyers to support them in court. And then when the court shut that whole process down, she personally forced the question onto the ballot herself. Let's talk about Alberta Next. June 24th, 2025, the Premier announces her plan to take a taxpayer-funded 16-person panel across the province to host carefully curated town halls to discuss 6 and only 6 policy areas that she wants to talk about. Things like creating a provincial police force, a provincial pension plan, a Alberta Revenue Agency, and taking more control of immigration. Things that most Albertans weren't asking for, but hey, separatists were. That same day, she rolled out a website complete with multiple high-quality videos, surveys, other material, all heavily skewed to push the Premier's point of view. Now, that amount of content at that level of quality, that would have taken weeks of work and planning and a whole lot of dollars to prepare. Not to mention the cost of touring 16 people around the province, the venues, security, and more. That's the level of investment Danielle Smith puts into something she cares about. Now, more recently, February 19th, she announces she's going to be holding a referendum this fall on 5 questions about taking more control of immigration and 4 on issues about Constitution, primarily all taken from her consultations during Alberta Next. Within weeks, she had a bill on the floor of the legislature focused on taking more control over immigration and 2 motions about taking action on 2 of the constitutional issues. And a few weeks after that, she unveiled her new Alberta Referendum 2026 website, where she uses your tax dollars to push her opinion on how she wants you to vote in the referendum she's holding with your dollars to ask you to support the policies that she's going to be using your dollars to tell you to support. So once again, on an issue that matters to the Premier, she's pretty quick to plan, prepare, and execute to push her view in front of Albertans. But on the Premier's new question on separation, well, in the days following her televised address, she said she'd be doing everything she could to convince Albertans to stay in Canada. And to be clear, that'd be a good thing. I mean, for one, she made this mess. She should help clean it up. 2, as Premier and leader of the UCP, well, she could be a pretty effective voice, probably, with some Conservatives who are maybe separatist curious. But after seeing the amount of time, effort, and taxpayer dollars she's been willing to spend getting separatists all riled up on this, you'd hope she'd do a little more than simply attend all the same barbecues, UCP fundraisers, and political events she would have gone to anyways. I mean, how about a section on a referendum website advocating for her position against separation? Nothing there so far. No videos, no info, no survey, not even the question itself. Now, I guess last week our new finance minister, Jason Nixon, he was on the radio, and he said he'd put out a report on the actual cost of separating from Canada. That could be helpful. And I'm sure that given how hard they've pushed to get this question on the ballot, all that preparation, they must have run the numbers. They've got something ready to go. Well, turns out not. They're hoping to maybe get something together by the end of July. So as I said, you can tell a lot about what someone actually cares about by how much effort they put in. And Danielle Smith and the ECP, well, it sure seems they're far more invested in the things that benefit them than the things that benefit you. So I guess it falls to all of us to do the real work of defeating the Premier's separatist questions in October, and then working to elect an actually ethical and competent government that'll put Albertans first. And Alberta's New Democrats, we're ready.